Great day at the stadium. Great emotional day at the stadium. Good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. It is a Victory Monday here on WGR, a football Monday. As maybe you stuck around until the end and you heard the video. That was after the game. Iris in the background. Great job by the Bills. There's a lot to get to from yesterday. A beatdown over the New York Jets. We have the playoff field. We had some craziness last night on Sunday Night Football. A lot of places that we could start. Good morning. Again, there is a lot to get to. We have the Jags matchup. That's in. And I got a lot to say about that particular matchup. We'll do a lot of that today as well. Sal will be along. Chris Brown. We'll try to figure out who the Bills' kicker is going to be for next week. And maybe you weren't that worried about kicker last night and you were really just feeling the vibes of the closing of the stadium and the Jets looking like the worst football team you've ever seen in your entire life, and weren't really worried about, there's an injury to Matt Prater. And then maybe you turned on Sunday Night Football and looked at, that's what that looks like when my kicker isn't doing the job. Boswell missing an extra point, which almost cost the Steelers the game, only to have Tyler Loop miss a 44-yarder to lose the game. So a kicker was going to be on the hook for that one last night. Crazy game. I don't want to start too much with that game last night, but did you guys stay up for that game? Steelers and Ravens? Like, that was for me I'll maybe, see if I doze off in the second half. My doze-off period of a Sunday night game is usually like beginning of the fourth quarter.
Right.
That game did not let me doze off last night.
I did not catch it. I finished the Bills game and went upstairs because I was just.
It was a good idea.
Yeah. It was also.
That's what I should have done.
I was birthday festivities, so there was other stuff going on.
Nice.
So I was busy, so I did not catch any of that Ravens Steelers game, but I saw a bunch of highlights after. Like, it was ridiculous.
The last 5 minutes, 6 minutes, Lamar was doing crazy things for the first time in like months.
Yeah, right. It seemed like
he's not going
got back a little bit.
But now he's not going. He showed, he still got that in there, breaking away from two people on a fourth down or on a third down, and then chucking it deep. Tomlin, by the way. Tomlin. It's so easy for me to just get going on Tomlin. All right, spare me a minute here before we get to the Bills. 803-0550, by the way, for your phone calls. Your experience in the stadium yesterday, your memories. Again, it was emotional for me. It was emotional for many. I know being there yesterday, maybe you got your coin and you want to share your experience. Or you want to preview the Jags game. Mike Tomlin. This guy. Yesterday, I tweeted this out, that I truly believe this, that John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin yesterday, at the end of that game, those were two poorly coached football teams. Just straight up. Those were two poorly coached football teams. Total mistakes made left and right. They were creating these big, big plays. The Steelers have their linebacker, Patrick Queen, one-on-one, 40 yards down the field against Zay Flowers. And then on the next play, they're in a defensive formation that nobody picks up the entire left side of the field. And you've got a corner that's trying to play safety this year, and he makes two critical mistakes in Jalen Ramsey at the end of the game. So I got Tomlin. Listen, he's a defensive guy, right? Or he was originally. His defense is out there getting ripped apart in the biggest moments of the game. And then by sheer dumb luck, the Ravens kicker misses a kick, and there's Tomlin at the middle of the field doing the chest bump and blowing the camera a kiss. Oh, he drives me nuts. As if he did anything to win that game yesterday. But you know what? Tomlin, he gets his rack. 10-7. 10-7, and they'll probably get blitzed in the playoffs.
Hey, it's better than 9-8.
It is better than 9. Sure, yes, thank you. Keen analysis there from Joe. Yeah, it is better than 9-8. The Steelers. All right, well, the Bills don't get the Steelers. We'll see. Maybe there's an upset to be had in Pittsburgh, and maybe there's a matchup down the road. I would not bank on it. The game yesterday, the feeling in the stadium, I thought going in that the Bills had a really good chance to really take it to the Jets, even with backups. I mean, I didn't think it would look like it did. That was a beatdown. That looked like, I mean, if I had told you that Allen had played quarterback and that James Cook was at running back, you might have thought that would be about the score. That would be about the game. If I told you the Bills running back went 21 carries for 151 yards, you might, did James Cook play? The quarterback went 22 of 29 for 259 and 4. That might be one of the best passing days of the season for a Bills quarterback. And no disrespect to Mitch Trubisky. He was great. And that's probably the most meaningful Bills game he'll ever play. I mean, we hope so. That Trubisky gets final day at the stadium. Everybody's there. They're going to stay to the end. And you want something to cheer about. It's a big day at the stadium. And you want it to go well. You want things to cheer about. You know, even if you had won like a 10-7 game, like that wouldn't have felt the same because you wanted it to be a party. So for them to deliver on that, I thought was awesome. Big shout out to the Jets for helping that along because that team, how is that team that dead? Just unmotivated. How that coach is going to survive? The whole roster quit on him. I saw yesterday that they're like the first team, maybe in the Super Bowl era. I forget what the timeline was, but one of the first teams ever, if not the first team ever, to lose 5 games in a row by 20-plus points. They were getting smacked by everybody. I mean, it's a couple of those games, they lose to New Orleans by 23. They lose to Miami by 24. Like, that team quit even against the bad teams.
Yeah, that is a I mean, just watching that whole football game yesterday, it felt almost dirt. Like, I felt gross watching these guys, like, just struggle around the field, looking like they could not care any less about what happens on that
they wanted to
field.
get to the locker room.
Like, it was so over for them the moment they stepped onto that field.
And you see Morris also getting heated on the sideline. Like, they're not playing for him either.
Right,
like, it's just I don't know. And they're talking about his job security on the broadcast. I'm like, how are we sitting here talking about him having a job next year as a head coach?
Yeah,
like,
if Glenn's going to stick around, I can't. I mean, listen, he was. The other part of this is the feat that they accomplished yesterday with the interceptions. Aaron Glenn was a defensive back in the National Football League who was just the defensive coordinator of one of the best defenses in the league in Detroit. He takes over as a head coach, and you become the first team in history to not get a pick. Listen, the Bills tried to give them one yesterday.
Yeah.
Do we think they were literally throwing balls on the ground because they want to get Quinn fired? Because it kind of looked like that. Like, how many times did Trubisky throw a ball right to him?
Glenn fired, right? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are they not trying? Like,
Trubisky threw it right to, I think, was it Quincy Williams?
I think, yes.
Yeah.
It's like bats it down. He's like, I don't want to catch it. And
it was like a hot
this.
potato.
I'm going to keep this record for our coach because he's a bum, I think.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if at least one of those guys legitimately went like, what am I going to catch this ball for?
Yeah, I mean, that might have been the only ball Trubisky really put in harm's way because guys were running open and he was hitting good passes.
Yeah.
But that one was right at him.
Right.
And Coleman tried to give them one also.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
He had, I mean, a very good chance at not even that tough a catch. I mean, a little bit tough. And, I mean, that's Keon. He doesn't make tough catches. So the ball goes to him and he pops it up in the air. Nothing. That's incredible. All right, yeah, keep going. Aaron Glenn. Listen,
I mean, to be fair, they did trade away like everything they had.
It's true.
But like they were bad before that.
And those players had quit.
Right.
They were done with that. Listen, on one hand, it is ridiculous to me that they're going to bring him back because of what you saw on display from the Jets at the end of the season. The good news is that did get them to the number 2 overall pick. And there were other teams like I saw the Giants who have won 8 games in the last 2 years, and 4 of them are in week 17 and 18 to make them lower in the draft order. They go to the 5th pick with a win yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, that opponent, perfect opponent for the day. Because you knew you were going to want to rest your guys, and you knew that you were going to want to win the game because it was a special day at the stadium. And there was no better team for them to see yesterday than that team. horrible, the New York Jets. The stadium memories, and I thought the Bills really nailed it. I thought between the videos, whether that was before the game or at halftime, Marv is, giving a video message to the crowd, which was awesome. And he threw out a little "where else would you rather be" chant in his video, and the crowd got into that. You got the alumni at the center of the field. I thought that was really cool. At halftime, if you didn't see that on TV, I don't know if the broadcast showed any of that, or maybe they showed like a second of it.
We pulled it up because it was on the Bills' Twitter, so we were able to watch it. It was something. That was
CBS didn't show it though, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
But still, that's cool that they provided that, because Kelly and Tasker and Daryl Talley we saw yesterday, he was there. He came up in the booth. Thurman, of course. And more. I mean, you had Ashton Yabodi there and other names from even the drought era. To get that at the little huddle and group hug at the middle of the field after and get that ovation was sweet. The end of the game, the video I mentioned with the Goo Goo Dolls in the background and Trey White staying out on the field to watch. Fans didn't really leave. Like, I ended up leaving. Me and Nate left, right around the final buzzer, like probably about when the first wave of fans would have left. We didn't know that there was going to be a video message or whatever. So, good on you if you stayed and saw that, and good that the Bills provided something. Like, hey, if you're hanging around, something to make that worth it. The coins were cool on both sides of it, and that's a throwback to the first game at the stadium. Yeah, your memories, 803-0550, your experience yesterday. And we'll get to injuries from yesterday, Max Hairston, Matt Prater, and the matchup with the Jets. That's all coming your way today on a Football Monday. 803-0550 is the phone number. Let's go to Mo in New Jersey. What's up, Mo?
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Victory Monday. Talking about memories, I don't obviously live close to the stadium. I try to go to at least one or two games every single year. For me, my best memory was the Cincinnati game when Benford took the interception and turned that game around. Mm-hmm. I've never heard the stadium that loud. And for me, when I was there, that was probably the best memory I ever had. And watching that game last night, obviously I knew it didn't really mean anything. I was really pulling for the Colts to beat the Texans. I did really want the 5 seed for a handful of reasons, just in case there were some upsets, because I do know Houston's good. Let's say we can make some noise, they make some noise, maybe potentially host the AFC Championship game. That's kind of why I really wanted the Colts to win yesterday. Other than that, congratulations on both to James Cook and the team for getting the rushing title. I watched that Steelers game for a lot of reasons last night. One of them was to see if Henry was going to break it, and the first quarter, the first run he had was like 50 yards on. He's Cook's basically.
Oh yeah, and there was that first run that got called back on a penalty, right? It was like a 40-yard run that got called back.
50, I think, but he still got credit for like 45 yards because I checked the stats. Like, I'm not even driving. I straight to the stats just to see. I'm like, oh, he's not getting this record. But at the end of the day, that's a team. That's a team thing right there. But congratulations to James Cook. I'm really happy for him. And I'm really looking forward to the playoffs, right? I'm always like, everyone asks, who do you want? I don't want to pick, because be careful what you wish for, right? I do think this Jaguars team is a really good team. They're going to give us trouble. We have a lot of trouble playing in Jacksonville, but I'm really looking forward to the game and looking forward to this playoff run. I hope we're not, one and done. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really optimistic, but, it is the playoffs after all. And, it's been a good season, and I'm ready for it to continue in the playoffs. Let's go Bills.
Yeah, thanks, Mo, for the call. The rushing title race last night. So James Cook, if you're waking up and you don't know what Henry needed and what he got, James Cook did win the rushing title yesterday. He got 15 yards when he came in. He ended up winning it by, I think, about 20. So he would have won anyway, but it would have been a sweat at the last, couple of minutes. That game, though, developed in a way where you kind of knew with like 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, that Henry wasn't going to get it. Like they weren't gonna run the ball. They ran it like twice, I think, on their final couple of drives, and he got stopped. So if he had broken one, it still could have gone to him. But I'm with Mo. I thought when that game started, right away, big run. Oh, but there's a penalty. But it was clear, like, oh, Pittsburgh's going to have trouble stopping him the entire day. And you go into the fourth quarter, and he still needed only like 30-something yards, I think. And I thought that he still was probably going to get it then. And then again, like Pittsburgh driving up and down the field a couple of times made it so that the game became more of a shootout, and you got less Henry. So good for Cook. And deserved, right? Because even though Henry would have had a game script played out a little bit differently last night, I mean, Cook gets one fewer game than Henry because Henry had everything to play for in Week 18, and the Bills really didn't. So he only gets 2 carries, and he averaged 7.5 yards, and we saw what Ray Davis did. Like, there's no doubt at all that Cook would have went off against the Jets yesterday if they wanted him to. So he deserved the rushing title, over 1,600 yards, the first Bill to do it since OJ in the 70s. I think 76 is the year that the last time that happened. Thurman never did it. Thurman would have had, all the receiving yards to get him in the lead in that category, but a huge year for Cook. And listen, again, we're going to get to a lot on the Jags all week. One of the reasons that they were my nightmare scenario for the Bills in the first round is that team is so good at smothering the run. The Jacksonville Jaguars this year not only have not allowed a 100-yard rusher, they have not allowed a 75-yard rusher on the year. They played Jonathan Taylor twice. Neither time did Taylor get to 75. I think 70 and 74. They held McCaffrey to 29 yards in a game, 2 yards per carry, and there's a bunch of others. So that team can stop the run. And if they're able to stop James Cook, then I think the Bills are in big trouble because all the games we've seen from the Bills offense this year where they can't get their run game going, those are the games they've had the most trouble in. 803-0550. Rusty in a car. What's up, Rusty?
Hey, how's it going? Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Congratulations to James Cook for the rushing title. And just want to say me and my son had a blast yesterday. We travel 2 or 3 games a season from Indiana, 8-hour drive, and we just love Buffalo, love you guys, and love the stadium, and so many memories. And, just a great time yesterday. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty, for the call. People were loving it yesterday. And, I don't know how retrospective people are or how much of a, I did a little turn when I was walking to the parking lot. Let me just stare at the stadium for a minute. And there were still a lot of people in it. Let me just stare at it for a moment and really take it in. Because the lights are going to go out. I don't think the lights are coming back on, right? Is there any reason for them to do that? Maybe they just leave them on for a couple of days, just cause the Bills logo's lit up on the side, and I almost got emotional in pregame yesterday because I lost a friend in April, and I know we had people calling in with stories about going to games with their dad or whoever that are no longer with us, and I think there was a lot of that yesterday. There were not everybody had dry eyes, I think, in the stadium yesterday, and I was one of those people that. It was kind of a tough day and an emotional day, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But it was a great send-off. Weather played out nice, too. It was freezing, though. So if you were dressed appropriately, it was a good weather day. Nate was not dressed appropriately if you listened to our pregame yesterday. That guy did not dress for 20-degree weather. He dressed for 50-degree weather. Crazy. It was fun to be outside, though, for pregame.
Isn't it almost better that it happened when the game was a nothing burger, essentially, though? Imagine if that was a high-stakes playoff game and they lose. No one's staying, any of that, right?
I was debating that during the week going in. I think I landed on thinking that it was better the way that it was. That the game meant nothing other than the final day at the stadium. Right. Imagine if that game yesterday, again, though, it's tough because the Jets were just, what would have had to happen for the Bills to lose that game yesterday? I thought Mike Schopp had a great line on postgame yesterday, which was if Trubisky had took the snap and put the ball on the ground, would the Jets have picked it up? If he just set the ball on the ground and said, here, take it, would the Jets have even picked it up? What would have had to happen for the Bills to lose that game yesterday? No, there's no chance.
There would have had to be a meteor that hit the sideline.
So if any meaning was attached to it, Trubisky probably gets in pretty quickly anyway.
Right.
They would have been up huge.
Yeah, they would have gone up. They would have scored on their first 3 drives
Yeah.
and taken Josh out and been like, we're done.
But if they're home against, I guess the real question is, would we rather, for the end of the stadium's sake only? I know for the Super Bowl, of course, you'd rather be at home. But for the stadium send-off, is it better having it the way it was yesterday than had they made the playoffs and lost in the divisional round and then that's our send-off?
I think it was, because I know for me, Friday, and I know I talked about this with Callie, even Friday was more about the stadium than it was about this game. And to me, I had all season kind of wrestled with I'm not feeling the weight of the stadium thing. And Friday for me was that. And then Sunday absolutely was that. Mm-hmm. And I think the game being what it was in terms of not having any kind of stakes for playoffs or whatever, allowed for that space and really allowed us to do shows about that and kind of bring that story out a little more than it would, especially imagine if the closing out is the AFC Championship game against the Texans.
Right. Yeah.
How much are we talking about the stadium if that's what we're going into? We're talking about the Texans and the Super Bowl and what's going to happen and who, all that.
Right.
Instead of getting all these amazing stories from, fathers whose sons were born on the day of the stadium.
Yeah, I don't know what times those games are at this year, but it's if the Bills had won the AFC Championship game, which, by the way, could still happen, but it would have to be the Chargers. So let's say that happens. The Bills play the Chargers in the AFC Championship game at Highmark Stadium, and they win the game. Is everybody sticking around and hanging out to watch the video and celebrating, or are we all running to our TVs to watch the NFC Championship game to see who they're going to play in the Super Bowl?
Right. Probably the latter, right? Because you've already done the celebration. You've already done that.
Right.
Again, I don't know if the NFC Championship actually even is after this year, but you know what I mean. That would happen.
Conceptually, that's what. Yeah, it's the same point. It's just this allowed for a lot more space, I think, for the meaning to come out. And I think that made an impact on me, at least. I don't know, about other people, but I definitely appreciated the fact that it was allowed to breathe.
I wonder how it compares to the closing of the Odd for fans that were at both.
Yeah.
I wonder, because the Odd, I watched the video of the final game against the Whalers in '96 on YouTube the other day, and the final minute, it's a total standing ovation, and I guess we got that yesterday too. Maybe there are similarities in how special it was, but then you're also getting the other thing is when you're leaving the building, you can't really miss the new stadium when you're leaving. It is very dominant in the scene.
Yeah,
because it towers over the current stadium. By the way, okay, so they're done playing football games there. Can we go back to calling it whatever we're going to call it in the future? Because the new stadium is going to be called Highmark Stadium.
Right.
So has that transitioned?
Yeah, can we call it?
Highmark Stadium has been the old stadium. Is Highmark Stadium this morning now the new stadium?
Right.
Or does that have to wait until the end of the season? Because, is there still a chance they play in Highmark Stadium? Right?
Yeah, mathematically, we have to wait till it's mathematically impossible.
I would say so, I think.
I think that's fair.
So I'm rushing. I kind of want to go back to this morning calling it the Ralph.
I know. I really want to, too, but...
Or for some, I'm sure some will do... I think it's going to be one of three things. You're either going to call it just the old stadium, you're going to call it the Ralph, which I think is what I'm probably going to do, or you're going to call it Rich Stadium if you were, going in the 90s and the 80s and before that even. Yeah. So this morning's too soon?
I think probably.
It's still Highmark Stadium?
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
All right. Listen, Chargers beat the Patriots, and then maybe I'm listening. Maybe I'm listening too. There could be another one. Because the Broncos could lose to the Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
The Chargers are broken, but they are.
Yeah.
They're scrappy.
Root for the Chargers. If you want another game at the stadium, root for the Chargers. 803-0550 is the phone number. It's a football Monday here on WGR. We'll take all your phone calls. We'll get to the Jaguars matchup, which I do not think is a good one for the Bills. Let me know what you think on that. If you were at the game yesterday, your experience, of that game, and we'll get to it with Sal. The injuries are big to go through yesterday. Matt Prater and Max Hairston are two tough injuries, I think, to sustain out of that one. 803-0550 is the phone number. Football Monday on WGR, brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com.